All right, so we're here. I'm gonna run some music real quick. I got some Coliseum music. I think Coliseum is a good. I think Coliseum's a good for this. So yeah, let me adjust this. Wow. Would you like to look at me, please? Okay. Hello, everyone. I've returned. We are back from Milwaukee. I would say it was a really fun experience. Got to play some Pokemon. I went 3-5, which honestly for my first regional, I'll 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 totally take. So this is the team. I didn't run anything standard. I tried to go something counter meta. I wanted to show like the actual full team here. So we have our Groudon. That was our main guy with Clear Amulet, Terra Grass, um, P-Blades, and then I went high horsepower, which let me tell you, I can already tell you right now, not a good choice. It's in the moment when you're first looking at the movesets. I was thinking, you know what? I'd rather have something that's still ground type. I don't need the heat crash, right? I have Ho-Oh. But what I later found out is that, yeah, no, there's a lot of flying types. Usually, teams have one flying type, and that would that'd mess me up if Groudon was last alive. So that's we'll get into the changes later, but that's for now. That was like one of the few points that I didn't that I one of the glaring weaknesses I saw. We also have our Venusaur, which I say is probably like my proudest. My what I take this is the my favorite part of this team is the Venusaur. Sweet Scent, Sleep Powder, Leaf Storm, Helping Hand. Leaf Storm just to deal like massive one-time damage if I really needed it. But the whole point of this was Sleep Powder. Of course, you want to have your fast Sleep Powders, just like Skiploom is like the more common one. But the reason I was running Venusaur was so I could at least live a hit. At least live like a neutral hit or whatever, especially on the special side. It has a pretty good special defense. If you just mostly put into that, it's like, oh, okay, I can take like one special hit at least. And if it's resisted, maybe two, depending on the mon. But, you know, the Sweet Scent's really nice because you could just go like Sweet Scent, Precipice. You're getting like a good 80% out of all mons, basically. Um, and then if it's still around, you can Helping Hand. I went for Helping Hand Precipice. That's also a good way to deal a bunch of damage. You even get knockouts you're not supposed to. Ho-Oh, I gotta say, probably hands down like the best counter meta mon in this meta. It's very good at its only weakness is basically Miraidon, and that's why I went with Groudon, because Groudon with high horsepower can just delete a Miraidon. It just gets rid of it, right? So, that was the pairing. That's what I was going with. I will say Terra Water, probably a mistake. I probably want to just make sure I can resist electric, which there are Terra types that allow that. So, but we'll come back to that yet again. Adamant Nature, Brave Bird, Sacred Fire, Tailwind Protect. This is pretty standard. Ho-Oh. I went with Citrus because I just wanted the survivability. If anything, make sure it could stay around, which was really helpful. Regenerator, and then the Regenerator buddy with it, Toxpex, Terra Dark, got the Infestation, Toxic Spikes, Wide Guard, Baneful Bunker. This was a really good mon. It is fantastic if you can get it into late game situations where your opponent cannot get rid of it. It is a problem. Those infestations and toxics do stack up. If you do get the spikes down, that was always the issue. If I could get the spikes down, then I was cooking. But if I couldn't get the spikes down, or if the spikes were down too late, yeah, that was an issue. That's why I'm switching over to toxic. That's like another thing. I also really like the Dark Terror type. You can't get Prankster taunted. You basically wall Kali Shadow Rider. It's actually a great mod. Great mod. Got your wide guards. Got your baneful bunkers. Very, very worth it. And then moving on, Focus Sash Fluttermane. I think this one's like very obvious, another CSR threat. Just being able to throw that out there with a Groudon, you outspeed everything because it's a speed booster in the sun. They need 2 guaranteed hits to knock you out, so you're basically always getting that Moonblast or Shadow Ball or Taunt off. Actually found I didn't really use Taunt as much as I thought I would. Maybe I should keep it with the emergence of Grimmsnarl, and having a non-Prankster Taunt is very helpful against those dark types, especially Grim. But I did switch it for Icy Wind because I wanted that speed control on to the Flutter Mane, because, you know, the Ho-Oh is basically going to outspeed anything that gets -1 speed, like any of those really fast mons. If they're at -1, the Ho-Oh outspeeds and becomes a really big threat. And then, of course, we had the Rillaboom. This is where I had my speed control, the drum beating. This drum beating, it actually did a lot. I was getting knockouts on 2 Kyogres with just drum beating, which actually kind of, I mean, it shouldn't really spread. I mean, if you look at the EV spread, that's why it shocked me, because I mean, it's still a base 80 move, grass type move on grassy terrain. So I mean, it does make sense that I would do that much still, but this is just a really bulky Rillaboom, Terra Normal. If I needed a Terra Normal, I'm keeping that around. I don't know if I would, maybe Fire would just be better, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine how it is. But this team is really good. I had a lot of fun. It's a very fun team to pilot. I will say the one weakness, I didn't expect to run into that many Miraidons. This was mostly like a Zamazenta CSR type beat, like counter that, along with like, you can get rid of CIRs really easily with Ho-Oh. You burn them, you know, stuff like that. Like, yeah, CIR, you get like the Ice Riders, you can either Sacred Fire it before it terras, and then if it does terra, you have Groudon. You know, it's great. Like, this team's very fun to pilot. There's a lot going on. You know, I just wish Miraidon wasn't huge in the meta, you know, big Miraidon. But yeah, I guess I can get more into the matches. My round 1 opponent was Moxie boosted, and let me tell you, that is nerve-wracking. Going up against, you know, no one will tell you, but you see the name and you know the name. It definitely is an intimidation factor. Like, I definitely was just nervous, you know. I also, it probably didn't really help that I was you know, I didn't have the best of sleep, of traveling and sleeping there, but, you know, I still went 3-5. You know, I lost my first 2 matches. I lost both of the games. You know, the second game I almost brought back against Moxie, but, you know, close is not a win. So, you know, I was really nervous. You know, really. It was just. Where was I going with that? I was nervous, you know, but, you know, he brought me back into it. He talked me into the match, which calmed me down. I almost brought myself back, almost, you know, Toxapex stalled and got out of it, but didn't. But then my round 2 match against a Rayquaza team, also a good counter. Let me tell you that much. When your Venusaur can't go fast to put something to sleep, it kind of sucks. And then also, you know, Rayquaza is a flying type, so yeah, Groudon's not really gonna do it. But it was another fun match. He actually ended up inviting me to his group. You noticed I was kind of alone, so I actually got a group of friends to go with. I was invited and accepted into a group, so that's pretty cool. They also invited me to a draft league, so when that starts up, probably get some more content around that. So that's cool. And speaking of content, I did want to change some things up about the channel. I'm sorry I went for the, you know, this is a long break, but yeah, I've been sitting on some videos. I don't think I'm going to go as ham. I don't want to go daily, but I do want to try to get at least 1 upload a week with multiple streams. You know, the weekday streams might be a little bit hard for me to do, but I will try my hardest to get these weekend streams. I'm going to try to stream. I'm going to be streaming today. I'm going to try to stream every day this weekend, and then try to just keep the momentum going forward. I've already started moving my VODs onto a VOD channel, so they're not clogging up this channel. So there will not be a live tab on this channel anymore. Everything will be moved over to the Chunks VODs channel. So yeah, and hopefully with a bunch of that stuff, I'll have a bunch of, still have a bunch of different types of videos. Probably not all Pokemon. I got a Baldur's Gate video I've been sitting on that I need to edit. I do want to get more into the custom starter runs. Those have been really fun, and there's a whole lot that are just like blank leaderboards on speedrun.com, so I would just love to flush those out a little bit. And then yeah, maybe some more VG stuff, because I had a lot of fun at the regional. We got the GC coming in this weekend, and yeah, no, it's really I'm really motivated going to the regional, and talking with people. A lot of people seem to be, they were very, they liked the team. They thought the concept of the team was really fun. And that made me really excited. I didn't, like, I started with, like I said, I started 02, and when it started up going 03, so like I was basically eliminated from day 2. But like after that, like after that pressure was off of me, I won 3 straight and then lost my last 2, but they were like really close matches. So like it was really fun. People were telling me they enjoyed the team. They thought it was really cool and unique. And if only I just got some sleep, maybe played a bit better, things could have been different. But it was really fun. Let's get into the new team, actually. So here's the improved version. So as you can already tell, I went Terra Steel on the Groudon instead of Terra Grass with Iron Head. I wasn't hitting bulk up that much, so I was thinking, hey, if I get Terra Steel and that takes my resistances, I'm no longer weak to grass, no longer weak to water, and ice, ice as well. And I can actually hit the Terra Fairies for super effective with a really good Iron Head and chances to flinch if I'm faster, So I think that's a good start. Also took off some of the speed and some of the special defense and put it more into attack. So, get a better defensive Terra. And then deal more damage with one hit with the Iron Head. That's the whole plan. Especially if I can get a helping hand behind it, or a sleep powder on another mon, on a faster mon, on the fast mon, or the problem mon. That seems to be, that's the plan here. I also went Terra Dragon onto the Ho-Oh and made it a bit more made it a bit bulkier. Kept the same moves. I threw Toxic on the Pex. But yeah, like I said, Icy Wind on the Flutter, and then Knock Off onto the Rillaboom. So I can get rid of problematic items and such, and have more CSR things. Having answers to CSR is always a good thing. Yeah, and I did want to point out one last thing. I was one of 4 people to use Venusaur and one of 4 people to use Toxapex at this event, and I was the only Venusaur with Sweet Scent and Helping Hand. And I was told that there were people talking about Sweet Scent Venusaur, when I wasn't around. So I'll take it. It was really fun. But yeah, no, I think Toxic's just gonna be good. I think this improved team. Let's see if I can do well with it. Like I said, let's just get right into it. Go, boom. Why is this so huge? Why are you so huge? Okay. Cool. Now, boom, boom, boom. Sweet.